What is the impact of divorce on a child? And how bad, how much harm occurs to a child due to divorce. And the reality is, the research is very clear that there is no difference in a young child, that is a child from birth to roughly age 6 to 8. There is no difference between death of a parent and divorce. Even if the parents no longer live together, but the child still sees the parent occasionally. So, what does all this mean? In the first place, if a child has a special need or is a typical developing child, the impact is the same. The recent earthquake in southern Turkey is an example of how people assume the death of a parent has a severe impact on a child. Well, frankly, we've known for over 100 years the negative impact of both divorce and death on young children. And the definition of a young child is birth to age 8. So during that crucial time period, the child is egocentric and thinks that everything that happens is caused because of their behavior. Which means if mother and father are fighting, the child assumes that they're fighting because it's his fault. If parents divorce, the child thinks it's because it's his fault. If a parent dies, the child thinks it's his fault. And there is nothing we can do to minimize the scarring that occurs from that. The big issue is the first 9 months of life is vital for building a healthy attachment in a child. And if a child has a healthy attachment with at least one adult in their life, if for whatever reasons a divorce is necessary, then the impact, which will be significant for the entire life of the child, will be remediated to a degree. Now, remediation means it will not be cured, it will not be stopped, the damage will still exist, but we can compensate to a certain degree. Now, research is very clear that people whose parents divorced when they were teenagers complain more about the divorce than young children complain about a divorce. However, when you administer psychological tests, the standard is Minnesota multiphasic personality test inventory, and in that MMPI, children who now are adults take that test and their parents had divorced when they were under 8 end up having much more emotional difficulties adapting to social relationships when they become adults than those whose parents divorced when they were teenagers. So, as a caveat, it's important to understand that if a woman is in an abusive relationship, she must decide to end that relationship. So there are times when divorce is necessary. However, the research is quite clear that even though yelling parents, arguing, fighting with each other is very scarring to children. There's no doubt at all that there will be permanent scarring from divorce as well. So the permanent scarring that occurs from children seeing parents fighting all the time when they're little children is just as devastating as a divorce, just as devastating as the death of a parent. So all three of them are problematic for young children, whether they have special needs or are typical developing children. Thank you for listening.